Good evening, race fans, and welcome to the season 15 finale of the Simability V8 ESC, round 17 and 18 from the magnificent Donington Park circuit. I'm Clyde Whiting, and in the booth with me tonight, as usual, and doing your cameras, it's Mr. Sam Boozin. Good evening.
Good evening, Clyde. Good evening, everybody watching.
Right. So, what I'm going to do, Sam, before we get into talking about the track, the cars, and the drivers, let me just do a quick rundown on the standings so that everybody watching knows what to watch out for. So, the main championship, the Simability Cup, barring a minor miracle, Simon Trendle will take the championship again over Rob Woodhouse. However, third place, I think, is still up for grabs. And I think that's between current third place holder and Woodward, Vincent Skilbeck, Tony Kloosterman, Bram Dubois, and I'd even throw Jamie Wilson into that mix. So watch those drivers. In the team standings, again, barring a minor miracle, but it's happened before, NQR Europe are looking good. And Team Chimera, if they can't get the top spot, look like they're going to take away second. And Never Quit Racing North America are clear in third. Driver of the meeting, the Bill Switzer driver of the meeting, as it give it its proper name, always open right till the very last race. Ant Woodward and Tyler Newitt currently share the lead with 3 votes each, but there is no Tyler tonight, so he won't be getting any more. In the Logan Jackson Safe Driver Award, again, we've got Jeff Saunders leading the way at the moment, Tyler Newitt second, Rob Venn in third. No Jeff tonight, no Tyler tonight. So Rob Venn could possibly take that away. And in the Fred Bingham Forever Forward Award, this one's close. Simon Trendle leading Rob Woodhouse, leading Ant Woodward. I think we've heard that before. But again, depending on what happens in the racing, that could all change. So, Sam, let's start off with the car. Gen 2 V8 supercar. It's our swan song tonight with the new Gen 3s coming out. It's going to be a bit sad to see this old girl go, isn't it? It was such an improvement over the Gen 1 car on iRacing. And I think most drivers have really eventually got to grips with this car.
It would be sad to see it go, but I will say finally, because the V8 supercars, the real series, have been running the Gen 3 for 2 years now, so it's good to have something fresh and something to look for and compare to the real guys, which is good. I like the first gen better than the second one, to be honest with you. I felt
Ooh,
like it was more
controversial.
it was even more difficult to drive, I think. Um, and I would have loved to see how that one would have felt with the improvement to iRacing, their tires, and all of that. I think it would have been great. But we're gonna see Gen 3 starting in a few weeks now, which is awesome. Not on the STV. We won't start right away. We're gonna let the thing build up a little bit. Maybe we'll talk about that later. Maybe not today. Maybe in a few weeks we will see where we stand. But in officials, like in 2 weeks, we're gonna have the break, and then the first official week. So we'll see what happens with the new gen and how the drivers get to grip with it. Like it took them a lot of time with these ones for a few people. So we'll see. In the Gen 3 for the real guys has been really difficult to learn, especially for the old guys. So we'll see how it goes in the same, if it's the same or if it's a bit different.
Yeah, and with the Gen 2 when that first came out, some drivers, as you were saying, it just took to it, and other drivers it took them quite a while to get to grip. So yeah, it will be interesting to see. Um, uh, Mainly for me, what sort of a job iRacing have done with the car, and how it how it shapes up, and the view of the drivers. Is it a better thing? Is it worse? Is it buggy? Are people absolutely loving it? But like you say, a couple of weeks and we will find out. um, Donington now. I have done so many races on this track. It's unbelievable. I I think it's probably one of my all-time favorites. I, I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's a fairly simple track if you look at it, but it's a lot more technical than it looks. A lot of people don't like the GP loop with the Melbourne hairpin in. Personally, I've always liked that. The only thing that was always my gripe on iRacing compared with real life is, for those that don't know Donington, it's on the flight path of East Midlands Airport. And the Wheatcroft Straight, I don't know if it's still called that, but it used to be called that, which is the straight that runs alongside the pits, always seemed to have I don't know, an aviation fuel sheen on it. And you was never quite in control going in a straight line. And breaking into Redgate was always, let's say, interesting. Now, I know something like that is very difficult to simulate, but it is one of the characteristics of this track. But over the years on iRacing, we, Sam, have seen some amazing racing around here. We've seen some amazing cock-ups as well, and the one that always sticks in my mind is Wobbly,
Yeah.
leading a race and then celebrating too early and getting pipped on the line. Um, but generally, this track is for racers, and they enjoy racing on it.
I quite like it as well. As you said, it doesn't look that complicated. There's only a downhill section with fast corners, then the old hairpin, and then a uphill with fast corners, and then two right. I think that's about it. Um, but there's space to race each other, and if you get a corner wrong, you can have a lot of people passing you, and it makes good racing opportunities. And I think that's what makes it good. That's it.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like you say, it's quite a wide track. There's overtaking opportunities at places you wouldn't normally think that people would overtake. Coming out of the Craney curves into the old hairpin, and drivers like to go wide out left and turn in, take the perfect line. But the amount of times, and I'll tag Ash Sutton in British touring cars. The amount of overtakes he has made at the old hairpin is just unbelievable, because you just poke the car down the inside, and the driver that's out there on the left has got a choice. Do you turn in and crash into the other car, or do you just go, yeah, you caught me by surprise? Not seen it so much in the B8, but it is a place. And like you quite rightly said, Sam, if you get a corner wrong, because of the technicalities of this track, where you're the corner that you're in, you're actually setting up for the next corner, and then when you get to that corner, you're setting up for the next corner. You've only got to get one of those wrong, and that can really throw you offline. And like you say, if the cars are bunched up, you can lose a number of places in a hurry.
You can, and I think one of the most difficult spots on the track is the first corner, because you can take wide in the pit exit, but not too wide, otherwise you get an off track or a slowdown. I don't remember which one it is, but you can also go wide on the exit, and you have to use that curve on the exit, but you cannot go over that curve too much, because you end up in the gravel. I think it's gravel on the outside of turn 1. And if you do that, you're basically done for the whole down X section all the way down to the whole hairpin. And that's where people will pass you, especially on the first lap or after the start. If you get boxed on the outside and forced wide, outside of the track in that grass gravel, you're gonna lose a lot of position. And yeah, you have to defend that spot hard if you want to survive turn 1.
Yeah, and obviously, we got the Melbourne hairpin or hellpin. That's probably a better name for it. Again, not seen it so much in the B8 when we raced here, but real life that's a big overtaking opportunity, because you really want to stay out left and get in tight on the hairpin to give you a run out. And I've watched a lot of races from down in that area, and been in a lot of races in that area, and it just takes one person to throw it up the inside. You can't turn in. You've got to go the long way round the hairpin, which then ruins your exit. And you can lose, again, depending on how bunched the cars are, but quite easily 2 or 3 positions, just by somebody throwing one in there. And, we have got drivers in this championship, although, every driver is fair. We've got drivers in this championship that if they see a gap, they're going to go for it.
And they have to. If they want to gain spot, improve position in the championship, or just in the race, it's a passing opportunity. You have to take it, even if it's fair.
Yeah, exactly. So we are 12 and a half minutes into the 15-minute qualifying session. Currently, we have a champion-elect Simon Trendle on pole. David Burns looking quick again in second, and the old stalwart Tony Kloosterman up there in third. For the folks at home, it is a sprint feature evening, so we've got 2 races tonight. First race will be a 20-minute sprint race, and the second race will be the 40-minute feature race. Reverse grid top 10 for the feature race. I think we've only got about 13 drivers tonight, so
14.
only 3. Is there 14 now? Is
Yeah.
there? Sorry.
Yeah,
Okay.
Glenn hasn't posted a time yet.
Ah, right. Yes. So yeah, not many drivers will not be involved in that reverse grid in some way, shape, or form. Where are we now? Yeah, no changes at the moment. We have got cars. We've got a number of cars on track. We have got people improving in sectors, but then losing time in other sectors. We've got a guest driver tonight as well, Mr. Walker himself, Sam.
Oh, excuse me. Yes. In 11th position. I mean, he's good. We all know that. But he's not used to the car, so it will take probably the first race to get used to it and make his way forward. I think he already raced before, because I think I remember seeing him around me in the past, like a year ago or something. Last time I raced, he was also on the grid for a few races. I'm looking forward to race 2 for him. I think race 1 will be more getting used to the car and feeling all the people races and all that. We know he's a competent driver, so he will make his way forward. I'm pretty sure of that.
Yeah, I think it was a late decision as well to compete tonight. So possibly this the practice session and the qualifying session, and as Sam says, probably race 1 as well is going to be the practice for Mr. Stephen Walker.
Well,
But
maybe we should remind him that it's not a drift competition.
yeah, I don't think that'll work. I think he's going to do that anyway. So let's bring you your grid for race 1, the sprint race. Simon Trendle for Team Chimera takes pole. I'm just going to shut up for 2 seconds while I do the grid thing, because otherwise I forget and then I get shouted at. There we go, done. Second, David Burns, doing really, really well lately. Tony Kloosterman for Never Quit Racing North America in third. Vincent Skilbeck, Wheelie Bins Mayhem Republic in fourth. Bram Dubois, NQR Europe fifth. Jamie Wilson, Team Chimera in sixth. Stephen Phillips, Dashhound Racing is seventh. And Woodward, NQR Europe is eighth. Nikolai Bogotyrev for Simability in ninth. And rounding out your top 10 is Rob Venn for BSTV Esports. Stephen Walker is 11th for Hydra Race Geodesic Racing. Rich Jameson for Rich Jameson Racing goes off 12th. But what is Rob Woodhouse doing down there in 13th for NQR Europe? And rounding out your 14-car grid is Glenn Sidman for Simability. What has happened to Rob Woodhouse? Terrible qualifying.
Probably a lot of off tracks.
Yeah, you got to keep it on the grey. So cars are lining up. Still a couple of drivers to join. Bram Dubois, Glenn Sidman. Where are you fellas? Don't miss the start. Okay, Bram's there. Not seeing Glenn yet. There he is. That's it. That's everybody on the grid. Let's get ready for the lights. Lights are coming on. Engines are revving. And we are green. And a decent start for Simon Trendle. Those who watch regularly will know why I mentioned that. Everybody safely around turn 1. Nice and sensible at the moment. But drivers know this is the best time to make positions. Okay, so as we head down to the Melbourne hairpin for the first time, Jamie Wilson and Stephen Phillips, even though where Simon Phillips came from. Got a touch of the Binghams.
Almost 4 wide. 3.
Oh, there was definitely a touch there, Jamie Wilson, and that was Ant Woodward, although on first glance, I don't think Ant could get any further to the right because he had a car on his inside, but we'll have a better look at that at some point. Let's put Jamie Wilson at the back of the pack. Let's have a look. So
There's Rob on the
got
inside.
Rob. Yeah, I think Ant did carry a bit of speed into there, but yeah, that was a gap that was going to close. Oh, Stephen Phillips was sideways, but it looks like he's recovered that.
And Brown and Vincent side by side at the same time.
Yeah, Vincent back to his original paint scheme. In that wheelie bins car.
Is it the first one he used? Because I
Yes.
think I remember something even different than that, but maybe it was
I think,
after.
yeah, I think this one was the one that he signed up with originally. But there definitely has been more colourful liveries from wheelie bins.
Yeah, the first one was a very colorful one, more than that one, but if you have to remember all the liveries that all the drivers have, it's
Yeah,
not possible.
yeah. Especially when you get those drivers that change them every week.
We don't have that much.
We haven't had that for a little while, have we?
Yeah, but it's been the case in the past.
So David Burns is clinging on to the coattails of Simon Trendle. They were dropping Tony a little bit, but I think Tony's finding his rhythm now. But Tony is dragging Bram and Vincent with him. Rob Woodhouse, after his terrible qualifying, is now up to 10th. And hot on the heels of Nikolai Bogatyrev. Tony coming under increasing pressure from Bram. Or was coming under increasing pressure from Bram, and then Bram got all out of shape. Vince is going to try and get up the inside, but he's not going to be able to do that. Stephen Walker, 11th at the moment. Oh, there was nearly a little nudge there. I think Vincent is saying, come on, Bram, you've had your fun with Tony. Now it's my turn. Oh, you got such a good exit there. But it's so hard to do anything with it.
And he made a mistake after that because Steven is right on him and he's past him now.
Yeah.
I didn't quite see on board what was wrong with the line from Vincent, but definitely had something going on.
Yeah, I don't know whether he caught a curb or just run out wide slightly, but yeah, Stephen Phillips took full advantage of that.
Going back at him now.
Rob Venn looking racy.
Yeah, I think he's starting the drift competition with
Yeah,
Steven.
I think I need to stop saying drivers' names because every time I say it, they seem to have a wiggle.
It's quite a nice gap between the first four guys, but then it's
Yeah,
it's a big
then
battle
it's
back.
carnage. Yeah. Yeah, first four seem fairly evenly spaced. But then from fifth backwards, fifth down to 10th, that's the battle in your picture at the moment.
And then these three.
Yeah, Jamie Wilson on a recovery.
Oh, defensive move. No, he's listening. Go. Okay.
Oh, yeah, I don't think that. I think he was trying to get out of the way, weren't he? And Jamie had already committed to trying to pass on that side.
the outside this time. Don't think it's gonna work.
Yeah, there's not a lot of grip coming out of that hairpin on either side of the track by the look of it.
Well, on the previous lap, Steven managed to keep the outside line and make it work, but he was already ahead defending on the outside, so it's a bit
Yeah,
different.
Rob Venn just got mugged by Ant Woodward.
I think that was a close call between the bumpers of
Yeah,
Vincent
Vincent.
and Steven.
Yeah, the car just wouldn't turn in for him there.
I think he went in too hot and almost collided. Oh!
Whoa! He's gone now. And I have a feeling he was helped.
I'm not sure about that. It was... And?
Oh,
Oh,
maybe
yeah,
he was
maybe.
already going before he was helped.
I'm gonna... I can't back up. I think there's a small touch. Yeah, and to... Oh. Yeah, I think, judging by the fact that Ant went off track and tried to give the position back, yeah, it
Yeah.
was definitely a touch between the two.
Okay, so that gifted everybody a couple of places from Rob Venn downwards.
And if everything stays as it is, Stephen Walker, for his comeback to the V8 as a guest driver, should start on pole.
Yeah, he will, won't he? Yeah. No pressure there. So Rob Venn, under a bit of pressure from Nikolai, really needs to get his head down and concentrate on getting after Stephen Phillips. I'm sure if he's listening, he'll be saying, "What do you think I'm trying to do?" Gap at the front now is up to just over 2 seconds. So Rob Woodhouse is behind Nikolai. I don't know if that was the defensive line from Nikolai or whether that's the line he normally takes. Rob was a bit far back for Nikolai to worry about defending. I think Rob's car does look a bit loose at the back end.
Not really stable, if you ask me.
Yeah. Quick in a straight line, though, so maybe it's a wing thing.
Vincent going by Rich.
Yeah. Vincent on a recovery. Jamie Wilson back up to 9th after being at the very back. Yeah, I think that is just Nikolai's natural line. Yeah, this is the straight that always seems to be covered in aviation fuel. this is on. This is on. Oh.
I think Rob is pushing a bit too hard on the braking, and he's missing all of the apex. There's an apex somewhere, Rob. If you wanna know, that's all you should. That's where you should race. Just saying.
Apexes are overrated. Go where people don't expect you to go. I'm surprised with Rob Woodhouse. I expected to see him charging through the field, so maybe there's something going on there that we don't know about.
Maybe not enough practice or something.
Yeah, normally the NQR guys are hundreds of laps, aren't they, practice? But
the drift
steady on
competition
there,
is
Will.
back. So Vincent will once again have a shot at the pole for the second race.
It was almost as if Rob turned in twice then for that corner. It's a good battle, these two.
And this one's brewing just behind.
Yeah, because Rob can't go forwards at the moment, so I think Jamie's going to be all over him on the next lap.
It's on.
Right. Rob needs anywhere near that. I was going to say he needed to cut back, but yeah, something going on there with Rob. I think he's not his usual charging self.
Yeah, we expect him to be a bit further up the field. He gained four position now, but Ant and Vincent went back because they went off track. So
Exactly. Yeah.
and he's somewhere at around Bram's pace usually, and Bram is in fourth
without
position.
a doubt. Yeah.
So yeah, he's a bit further back than we would expect from him. But again, the previous race was last week. Maybe he had not a lot of time to practice this week.
Yeah.
So when you
a
know,
number of...
they all put such an amount of practice for these races. If you miss one day, you're just so much behind. It's insane.
Yeah, Jamie Wilson was out of shape for a little while there, but managed to get hold of it. He can see some points in front of him that he wants to take away from Nikolai and Rob Venn.
And he's quicker, I think. Maybe Nikolai is quicker as well, because he's been stuck behind Rob for a few laps now. So it's hard to say if Nikolai is faster than Jamie or not, but Jamie is definitely faster than at least Rob.
Yeah, this is where Nikolai's in a tough spot because he's finding it difficult to get past Rob, but he knows Jamie is going to be throwing it everywhere to try and get past.
And Woodward in the pits.
And
inside the pits.
That is a drive of shame.
He is stationary on my...
Yeah, he's definitely racked up enough incident points for a drive of shame. So Jamie putting the move on Nikolai. Next one's a right.
Yeah,
Nikolai's doing well there. But yeah,
and
done
if
and
you're
dusted.
listening, you cannot quit. You're part of Never Quit Racing, so it's a no-go for you. You have to get out of that. Come on.
Oh, Nikolai to manage to keep hold of that. He wants that place back.
Yeah, and
This
Rob
is,
likes it.
yeah, I
Both
was
Rob
just going to
likes it.
say this is golden for Rob Venn looking in his mirror at these two going at it.
Isn't that one of the best position of Rob this season in a race?
Yeah, I think it could be.
If not the best, one of the best. I know he's gonna lose it and lose everything because I said it, but you know, go on, Rob. I think 2 laps remaining, you can do it.
Vincent is catching this battle as well.
Okay, but if you're Vincent, do you want to get past them now or not? I know there's point on the line and there's the brag of, well, I finished maybe 5th, 6th, 7th, maybe, but at the same time, you have to think it's first place for race 2.
It is, but then the other side of the coin is if he thinks that he's faster than these 3 drivers in front of him, why not take the points, start 4th, and get past them straight away, and maybe go for the win that way.
Because it can be chaos on turn 1. And with Vincent's luck this season, I wouldn't gamble on that, if I'm being honest. And even if it takes him a lap to pass everybody in front of him, if he start 4th, white flag in the air, by the way,
Yeah.
it's a lap lost on guys
Oh,
like Simon, David, which is like super fast today, and Tony. Uh, you know, it's
yeah.
a
There's
tough call.
a number of ways to look at it, isn't there? I don't know. I know drivers do it. I know drivers will sandbag for a reverse pole and things like that. But I think the majority of them, if there's a car in front of them, they want to get past them.
Yeah, uh, I usually don't, but this one I would sandbag it just because it's the last one, and you know, with the bad luck Vince had this season, if he could win today, I would be very happy for him because he deserves a win. He should have won a few times, and it's not come his way. I think he hasn't
Yeah,
won any races. No,
you're not wrong there.
that's on.
Oh, this is definitely on now. Oh, Rob as late as he possibly could on the brakes. He's going to lose 2 positions. Wiggle from Nikolai.
So Simon has finished the race. So has David and Tony. Uh, Sorry, guys in front, but this is a real battle. You're just trying to go
Rob,
home. Sorry, we will
Rob
see you next
actually,
race.
yeah, Rob actually did really well there.
Yeah,
He
very
could
well
have quite
done.
easily lost a few more positions, but came home 7th. So another win for Simon Trendle.
And there we go. We haven't seen them for the whole race. They are all 4 in the same pictures. There it is. Thank you, guys. Perfect. Only Glenn to finish.
Yeah, not much action from the guys up front, but the rest of the field, that was full on.
It was full, action packed. It was good. Should have the result coming in shortly. There you go.
Okay, so let's bring you our official result from the sprint race, round 17, the penultimate race of the season. And another win for Simon Trendle for Team Chimera. David Burns up there in second. And Tony Kloosterman for Never Quit Racing North America takes the third step on the podium. Bram Dubois, NQR Europe, was fourth, and Stephen Phillips, Dash Hound Racing, in fifth. Jamie Wilson was sixth for Team Chimera, Rob Venn seventh for BSTV Esports, and Nikolai Bogotyrev for Simability in eighth. Rob Woodhouse was ninth for NQR Europe, and Vincent Skilbeck rounds out your top 10 for Wheelie Bins Mayhem Republic. Rich Jameson was 11th for Rich Jameson Racing. Stephen Walker was 12th for Hydra Race Geodesic Racing. Simability's Glenn Sidman in 13th, and NQR Europe driver Ant Woodward finished 14th.
I think we need to rename Anne's team for Not Finished Racing. But sorry, Anne.
So yeah, I would say, and definitely got a black flag for incident points, and maybe at that point decided to park it. Yeah, so bad race for Ant, bad race for Rob, but a good race for Bram Dubois in that NQR Europe team. Da, 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 da. It's all right. Sam's already answered that one for us. Good stuff. Why am I not seeing it? Oh, there we go. So why am I not seeing anything? So yeah. Who actually finished 10th in the end? Well, it was Vincent, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Vincent, I think.
Yeah.
Let me
So
bring back the result of race 1 just to make sure. Yes, Vincent.
yes, it was. Yeah. So reverse poll for Vincent. Tell you what's going to be interesting then. Rob Woodhouse, with, I'm going to say, lack of pace in race 1, is going to be starting second. It's going to be interesting to see if he manages to find some pace, or is he going to go backwards?
He could also play the team game for Tony, which is, team boss. I think there's gonna be no order in the team. It's not the way they work, but if he can stick in on the inside of Vincent in turn 1, slow him down to make him not go away from the lead group, to allow Tony to catch him faster, maybe. And that is if Vincent is not as fast as Tony, because it was a bit difficult to compare the pace between the two because they were so much separated of one of each other. So it's a big question mark, because if Vincent has the same pace as Tony, or maybe Simon even, starting first will give him a good advantage over the other. But is he that fast? We'll see.
We will see. And then throw into the mix 13 other drivers that can all get in your way. I'm going to have one eye on Jamie Wilson, I think, Sam, because he looked very, very racy in race 1. I know he had that touch with Ant, I think it was, but he looked quick. And what's he gonna? He's gonna start in what, 5th?
Yep.
With Rob, Nikolai, the other Rob, and Vincent in front. Well, do you know what? Jamie Wilson for a podium. There you go. You heard it here first.
I will follow you on that one. I think he looked racy. Jamie has improved a lot recently. And he was already good, but I think he stepped up one step further. And he's closer to the front guys. Because there's
I don't think Jamie's a bad driver.
No, he's never been. Yeah.
He's just, depending on which way you look at it, unfortunate or fortunate that he's got a teammate like Simon Trendle.
Well, I would say he's in the top of the new mid-pack. And I say the new mid-pack is people outside Simon and the big winners.
It's a big mid pack, isn't it?
Yep.
There's a lot of drivers in there with the potential of at least one race win, but possibly multiple race wins. We've seen Rob Woodhouse win. Ant Woodward's got wins in him. Bram de Bois has got wins in him. There's so many drivers up there now. I'd even extend that towards what we're seeing tonight, and maybe over the last three or four rounds. The drivers that are then outside of that mid pack are constantly getting better. So, if we go back 5, 6, 7, 8 seasons, you had a couple of drivers up the front that were head and shoulders better than the rest. You had the mid pack that were, I used to call them the triers. They weren't going to win a race unless there was a calamity up front, but they would always have good racing together. And then there was, the back markers, who, in the nicest possible way, were just happy to finish. But I think over the last couple of seasons, all of those gaps have closed up. And it's fantastic. It's, people sharing, people helping, dedication from individual drivers, the will to want to get better, which was always my thing. I don't think I ever got any better, but it was always that I'm not going to let this car beat me. And we tend to have consistently the same drivers season in, season out, with the odd exception. And my tactic was always, look at a guy that's finishing in front of me every race and go, right, you're my next target, and then try and get close to him or her, and then get to that point where I was constantly finishing in front of them, and then go on to the next target. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for me.
Yeah, I was about to ask, did you ever pass the first target in the list? Maybe if it was Pete, maybe.
Yeah, well, Pete just used to crash into me. But no, there's a number of ways drivers can go about it. But, I think overall, the standard of racing, the closeness of the racing, and, the gaps from the front to the back have all closed up. And, it just, I say, testament to the drivers that, they're the ones that do it.
Yeah, exactly. And I remember we used to race with 40 car grid.
Yes.
That was a
Yes.
while ago. But in those grids, you had trust for like a third of the drivers, maybe. And you knew you were picking your battle. It was like, I'm just gonna let that one go and I will fight the guy behind him, or I will try to pass fast this one and fight longer with the guy in front, because we knew who was a bit cleaner racing. No, you don't have that. There's no real bad drivers, not at all. They're all pretty fair to each other. At least they try. Sometimes they get a bit, they're race car driver, even if it's virtual. But I think they do a great job to respect each other and make sure there's no contact as much as possible. It's racing; it will always happen. We'll always see contacts in racing. You can avoid it, but you can have a lot of good racing. And even if it's closer now than it it has always been. I think it's cleaner as well.
I totally agree. And just touching on what you said there about past seasons. For me, that was always going into a heavy braking zone and looking on the relative screen and thinking, "Oh no, look who's behind me."
Oh, I
And
remember that feeling. Yeah.
yeah. Anyway. It is the final race of the season. It is round 18, and this is your starting grid. So Vincent Skilbeck goes off on pole position for Wheelie Bins Mayhem Republic. Rob Woodhouse, NQR Europe, goes off second. Nikolai Bogatiro for Simability in third. Rob Venn, BSTV Esports in fourth. Jamie Wilson, Team Chimera in fifth. Sixth is Stephen Phillips for Dashhound Racing. Seventh is Bram de Bois for NQR Europe. Eighth is Tony Kloosterman, Never Quit Racing North America. David Burns goes off in ninth, and race one winner Simon Trendle rounds out your top 10 for Team Chimera. Rich Jameson goes off 11th for Rich Jameson Racing. Stephen Walker, Hydra Race Geodesic Racing in 12th. Glenn Sidman goes off 13th for Simability. And Ant Woodward for Never Quit Racing Europe goes off 14th.
Poor hands. It's going to be a nightmare today.
Right, I think this race is going to be interesting. So cars are gridding up. We do set the gridding countdown to 2 minutes to give drivers time to set up whatever gizmos they are using. Most of them are recording their races and things like that. And if you go on the Discord, a lot of them publish their races. Sometimes they are quite funny to watch. So lights are about to come on for the final race of the season, and we are green.
I think I saw someone bumping before the green light.
Vincent
And Vincent had a
had a
terrible
shocker.
start. Yeah. Oh, and yeah, and the OC connection is playing as well, which is not
Yeah,
really the best.
let's hope he doesn't totally lose connection like he did last week. But Rob Woodhouse is in the lead. Jamie Wilson is past Rob Venn already.
But then, oh, someone's off. That's Stephen Walker.
Stephen Walker is disappearing somewhere.
Stephen Phillips lost 3 positions. The start. Got out. Oh.
Yeah, Simon Trendle is terrible. He's gone nowhere.
No, it's good. That means
he's having a shocker.
A start. I think he started at least.
And round the outside, Stephen should cut that off.
Trying to cut back.
Yeah, end of lap 1. Rob Woodhouse leads the field across the line.
Okay, before we get too far into these battles, let's watch what happened. Side by side, downhill. Ouch, yeah.
Yeah. I don't think Stephen did much wrong there.
No, I don't think he a bit later on the break than I think it was Rich. and Rich came on the left as you usually do on that part of the racetrack, and they ended up side by side on the same spot.
Jamie Wilson up to third. Cars twitching under braking, and Woodward tried to move on Simon Trendle there, but I say a move, it wasn't really a move, but just having a look.
Pushed the past for third.
Oh, yeah, mistake from Nikolai. At that point, it's all over. So 2 laps in the books, folks, and Simon Trendle is still having a shocker. I think he's going for reverse pole in race 3.
He's always been patient with, the race and the passive. Plus, as we said at the start, it's pretty hard to pass. And, I mean, he doesn't have... Oh, I think that's a slowdown for someone.
That's David.
Yeah, David is slowing... I don't know why. I probably cut too much deal there. But...
So Simon Trendle has been gifted a place. Perhaps that's the plan. Let all the cars in front of him get slowdowns.
No, these two are reverse position from the previous race, and now it's Rob attacking Nikolai, which is interesting.
And Woodward up to 10th from last. Still a big battle pack there.
Vincent has not managed to close me on a Rob Downs.
No.
He's even lost some ground on Jamie. Jamie looks fast again.
Well, we've already cursed him, so...
Yeah. Well, you picked him for a podium. He's gonna finish last.
Made the most of it whilst you can, Jamie. Eight cars there under a blanket. That's what we like to see. That's pretty much third down to 11th. Well, I think Nikolai may have just had another wiggle. Rob then feeling the pressure from Bram Dubois.
And Bram from Tony, and Tony from Steven, and Steven from Simon, and Simon from Matt, and then from David. Wow. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Right, let me have a look at our inside information here. Which for some reason I can't find. There it is.
Tony's round.
Oh,
and Simon
and
collected
Simon
as well.
was... Yeah, I don't think Simon was in that.
No, he just touched Tony as he went
Yeah.
across the track, and Tony went on his own, I think. Let's go have a look.
Very late on the brake.
Yeah, he
there.
went too deep on the brake.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got some damage on the front of that car as well. So we're on lap 6, and Simon Trendle is having a shocker. He's still in 10th. The car looks fairly clean after that little dust up with Tony. Although, to be fair, the look of the car and how it drives don't always correspond. Right, I think Vincent is eking into Rob's lead now. That is consistently under a second, where it was consistently over a second.
And Jamie completely lost the contact with Vincent. He's now dropping into Nikolai.
Yeah, he's certainly not gaining on the front two. So, we think the pit window is open, maybe? Yeah, possibly, for those who want to risk it.
It's a long time on the tires.
Yeah, you can see Vincent is very close to Rob Woodhouse now. Oh, it was nearly a blue on blue, literally.
Bump drafting in the corner.
I think there was a little love tap there, wasn't there, between teammates? Trendle makes a move on David Burns, gets that done. Amy Wilson has dropped a little bit further back, but that's not pressure from behind because he's pulled away from Nikolai, so that must be pure pace. That one doesn't surprise me. Tony Kloosterman in the pits, and we see the front of his car caved in. So these two, Rob and Nikolai, spent the whole of race 1 battling each other. Don't know what the undercut is like around this circuit, but very interesting to see what these front two do with a 3-second lead over third place Jamie Wilson. Are they comfortable enough to just keep going, or are hands going to be forced now with a lot of cars entering the pit lane?
Is this the right call? We'll see.
Both Chimera cars and Nikolai Bogotyrev. I think Vincent probably feels that he's got the pace over Rob Woodhouse, but having the pace and doing something with the pace are sometimes two totally separate things.
Well, I would say if Rob doesn't pit now, Vincent should pit, and the reverse. If Rob pits, Vincent should stay out to
Yeah,
get
I
clean
agree.
air.
Yeah, I always say do the opposite, because otherwise you'll just follow Rob into the pits, and providing everybody has a clean pit stop, you'll follow Rob out of the pits.
Yeah, and looking at how difficult it is to pass, you need to cover Jamie, which is the first one in line in the battle, which was only 2 or 3 seconds behind. So he
Yeah,
needs to make a move quick. If he stays out too long, Jamie will pass him, and then he will be stuck behind him again.
yeah. I would be thinking about it now,
Yeah.
but no, they're both staying out.
And in the pits,
Yeah, and Woodward and David Burns pit this time round.
very short pit for both of them, 2 seconds faster than anybody else.
So Jamie Wilson is currently in ninth, so he's the leader of the pitters.
Yeah, and not good for Ant. He's just behind the line.
Simon Trendle is having a shocker. He's lost 2 places from the start and is down in 12th.
Yeah, but he has pitted in some other now. I know, but still.
So still they stay out.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the right call.
What's the lap times like, Sam, between the front two and Jamie?
There we go. The last lap on screen. So in 29.7
51.7.
for both of them.
We haven't,
Let's
yeah,
run
we
that.
haven't got Jamie's yet, have we?
And
There
there we
we
go.
go. 29.1. So that's half a second a lap at the moment.
Yeah.
And we saw Simon get past David Burns, didn't we, before the pit stop? And now he's behind him again.
Yep.
Stephen Phillips, Rob Venn. Oh, nice little squirt of the throttle there by Rob. Don't think it's ultimately going to do him any good, but you never know. Oh, he's done well there. No, he had to hit the brakes there. Yeah. Car was about to get away from him. Simon Trendle would have slowed down.
Yeah.
Double shocker.
Vincent and Rob Dawes in the pits at the same time. And I don't think
Yeah.
that's the right call from
No,
Vincent.
definitely not.
He needs to get out in front of Rob. Oh.
Unless, no,
Yeah.
I was going to say unless he'd managed to save some fuel, but yeah.
And he had a longer pit stop. And here's Jamie.
And there's Jamie. There is Jamie.
Oh, nice
Christmas has
cover.
come early. Christmas has come early.
Nah, but he's got all the tires, so he's not gonna do it.
So top 5 still to pit. Oh, that could be a slowdown.
It's not. It was close.
I think you got away with it.
Looks like a NASCAR restart. Side by side, waiting for the green flag.
It's always funny when you're in Simon Trendle's position there. You're coming onto a straight and you're like, oh, which one shall I go behind?
I think he chose the inside of the corner. It's the
Oh,
safest bet, but yeah. Doesn't always pay off.
He's got that move done on David Burns. So, shocker of the evening, Simon Trendle still hasn't made any positions and sits in 10th. So I think the back end of this race is going to be interesting, Sam, because we saw Rob Woodhouse leave Vincent Skillbeck behind. Oh, it was ropey there, Mr. Walker, at the start of the race, and then Vincent came back to him. I'm wondering if we're going to see the same here. There's about a second between them at the moment. Jamie Wilson hanging on gallantly on, as Sam quite rightly said, older tyres. But he
Fastest lap
has
for
got a
Vincent.
decent lead, hasn't he, over those following him who are in this gaggle. See, throw it up the inside there.
It's got a run, but I don't think it's gonna be enough. No way to go.
Yeah.
Oh, he's trying.
Oh, he's left a gap. He got a little bit out of shape there, but I think he's done enough.
Ah, Nikolai's wide.
Oh, yeah. Nikolai overcooked it there. So Simon Trendle luckily up to 7th. He's got Ant Woodward in front of him and then his teammate. Top 2 still haven't pitted. One and a half seconds between Rob Woodhouse and Vincent Skillbeck. That's got out a little bit. We are past the halfway stage.
Why is there a DRS sign on Donington? As F1 race? at Donington? In the recent
Uh,
years, I mean?
I'll say not for many years.
And in the recent past? I don't remember.
Joe, I'm going to Google it though.
Because it's only available in F1, right? The DRS, so...
I think so. Yeah.
Or maybe it is
F-
something on iRacing just to have, something for the F1 cars to race, but that's weird.
So the last time was 1993.
Yeah, no DRS at that stage. So
That
Stephen
was the
Phillips at the back of the battle
yeah,
after
that
the
was
pit
the
stop.
European Grand Prix.
Yeah. Yeah, but there were no DRS in 1990 something.
No.
And he started in the 2000, 2010 something. I think somewhere around those lines, but yeah. Maybe it's just something on iRacing for the F1 cars. I have no clue.
Yeah, I must admit, I've never really noticed that. But the signs are definitely there. So Rob Venn currently leads the way, but he still owes us a pit stop. And Woodward defending for his life against Simon Trendle.
Oh, and is making a lot of ground in the Forever Forward Award. +9.
There we go. Oh, no, he couldn't do it. That's the move I was on about.
Yeah, started from last. He made a good call on that, I think, because it could give him the championship. Because Simon started first in the first race, so he gained no position, and he's only gained 4,
Yeah.
maybe 5 now. But that will still leave and at +8 if he passes him. So it's gonna be a close one. This one.
Let me have a look at incident points. And we got a couple of drivers in double figures. 15, 14 and a bit minutes to go. Jamie Wilson did close up to half a second behind Vincent, but that's stretched out again. It's a good battle, this one. And it's going to have to concede. So stay out wide. Get the run out. Oh, Simon was nearly sideways.
Well, if that's nearly sideways, I don't think I don't know what sideways is.
Oh, he's twitching all over the place. Ant's got a run on him now. Right. Stay on the outside, Ant, and you can get it on the inside down to the hairpin.
Contact behind.
Uh,
Yeah, that is
that was
Bram.
David round.
Yeah, Bram into David on the braking. And Rob is in the pits. Rob Van.
And there we go. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think, you know, they had to slow down because they were side by side ahead. And yeah, Bram just did not. It just took the line as he took it the previous laps. Nothing intentional, but
This,
the contact is still the contact.
yeah, Simon has just got past Ant again as we've switched to the Jamie Wilson, Vincent Skilbeck battle. There is absolutely no pressure from behind. But these two will want a fairly quick resolution for this battle because they both want to go chasing Rob Woodhouse. Jamie got good traction there. But not there. And Rob's looking in his mirror going, keep at it, boys. Oh! There was a gap and then it closed. Yeah.
I'm not sure about that one.
Unfortunately, I think you have to blame the car behind. Don't think Vincent did anything wrong there. But I think Jamie Wilson sniffs a win.
He's got over 3 seconds. It's gonna be a tough one.
Yeah, tough, but not impossible.
You need to be a lot faster to catch those 3 seconds and then be able to pass. And he's got all the tires as well. And he's battled with Vincent where Rob was on his own, kind of. Oh, Bram is back in the pits? Or is it the first one? No, it's only the first one. Okay.
That'll be a drive of shame. He was one of the two cars that was on double figures. We now have another two cars on double figures, as well as Bram. Under 10 minutes to go in the season. Late battle here. Vincent Skilbeck, Simon Trendlamp, Woodward and Stephen Phillips all interested in fourth position at the moment. Sorry, third position. And had a lot of grass there. got away with it.
Yeah, I think he said he started a lawn mowing business or something.
He's not really putting a major amount of pressure on Simon, but every now and again, I think he's doing enough to make Simon think. That 3.2 second gap is down by half a second at the moment up front. Simon now having a go at Ant. I think he might. I was going to say he might get that done, but Ant might get a toe.
I think Ant tried the move, didn't work out, and then Steven came along and said, "Okay, I'm gonna try now." Didn't work out either, but and Steven's got real new tires compared to Ant and Simon, like 6 and 7 laps newer tires. It's not bad.
It can make all the difference, can't it? If they keep slowing each other up, then Nikolai's going to be on the back of this battle as well.
And Tony's not far off either. 5 minutes. I don't think he's gonna make it. But if they battle enough, he can. And recover a bit from the turnaround earlier on in the race.
Where are the leaders there? Okay.
Just crossing the line.
Oh, Simon, sideways again. Oh, and sent it. And gets the move done. Every time there's an overtake, Stephen's there. Oh, well
That's as
held,
close
Mr.
as you
Woodward.
get.
Yeah, well held. Simon is horrendously quick through that little chicane there. And gets his car right over to the right-hand side down the back straight. Opens up that chicane as much as he can. Gap at the front is under 2 seconds. But we're running out of time, 3.5 minutes.
Yeah. If Rob doesn't make any mistakes, I think he's gonna make one now, but Jimmy won't catch him. And even if he catches him, he still need to make the pass, and that's the toughest part of it.
Battle with Simon and Ant has afforded Vincent a bit of fresh air. So they're going to cross the line with about 2 minutes to go. So it should be 2 laps.
Should be 2 laps, yes.
So going to be interested to find out from Rob Woodhouse what happened in race 1. Wrong setup, maybe? I don't know. He certainly had pace in race 2.
Maybe he's, I will say this with big air quotes, but only good in clean air. And being behind
Yeah.
a lot of people, he could make the moves and make forward progress. He had a really bad qualifying. He started almost dead last. So, you know, it's tough. Okay.
I'm going to try and get the results uploaded straight away, so we know who's what and where's where. Leaders are on the final lap. Yes, they are. Just down to about 1 second, but that I think for Jamie Wilson is 1 second too many. Simon Trendle has caught back up to Vincent Skilbeck. No mistakes from Rob. That's what he wants.
I think one more lap and Jimmy will have
Yeah.
No, he's too far back. He's too far back. I think he tried everything. Meanwhile, I'm going by Simon and then coming
Yeah.
at Vincent and then side by side and contact. And hands around.
I think there was a lot in that, if I'm honest.
Yeah, that was a lot to unpack. We'll watch that, but yeah, cross the line.
Yeah, Rob Woodhouse takes the win in the final race of the season, round 18, your feature race from Donington Park. Questions will be asked.
A lot of questions. Okay, let's watch. I think
Simon tried to
Simon.
make a move, didn't he? And
I think Simon had
oh
a
yeah,
slowdown. Pretty sure he had a slowdown. Let's try to watch the chicane, or maybe just a bad entry to the chicane. Oh no, he hit Vincent at the exit of the chicane. That's what made him slow. And then, well, yeah, I think Simon doesn't go too much to the inside to try to keep the radius open and tries to squeeze him. I think that's how I see the incident. So I don't think they're both or neither to blame in this one. But it's just watching it
yeah.
live. I do feel like Ant came in and Simon didn't came in, so they were just crossing their line. Because Simon maybe felt he was already too much on the insides, and yeah, it's it's a tough call. I'm sure that we'll have a chat together and see
I'm
each
sure they
other's opinion.
will, and I'm sure it will be very, very friendly as usual. There you are. Okay, sorry, I'm just trying to do the results. Right, so we need to go to the website and go that
Whilst you
one.
do that, final result of the feature race. Babu House for NQR Europe wins with just short of a second Jimmy Wilson for Team Chimera. Vincent Skillback third. Uh, Good result, but I think he was expecting more for Williams Mayhem Republic. Simon Trendle fourth for Team Chimera and champion this season, doing burnouts on the front straight. Stephen Phillips in fifth for Dash On Racing. Ant Woodward finished sixth for NQR Europe. Nikolai Bogatarev for Simability in seventh position. Tony Klosterman eighth for Never Quit Racing North America. Good recovery, considering he was almost dead last at the start of the race. I'm sure he was expecting more as well. Rob Van 9 for BSTV Esports, and David Burns stands for himself as a privateer. Stephen Walker 11th for Hydro Race Jurassic Racing. Not too bad of a result for a comeback to the car. I'm sure it was a handful. Rich Jamieson in 12th for Rich Jamieson Racing. Bram Dubois in 13th for NQR Europe. And Glenn Sidman for Simability in 14th. Right?
Okay, so results are uploaded, and I can tell you, we knew this anyway, but Simon Trendle wins the Simability Cup again. I think that's 3 on the trot now. Rob Woodhouse was second, and Vincent Skillbeck in third. The team standings, teams championship was won by NQR Europe, with Team Chimera second and NQR North America in third. Driver of the meeting is still to be decided, because that's up to me and Sam. Safe Driver Award goes to Jeff Saunders, with Tyler Newitt second and Rob Ben third. And it's a great one. The Forever Forward Award. This is how it finished, top 3. Simon Trendle, 41. Ant Woodward, 40. Rob Woodhouse, 39. Couldn't have got much closer than that. Right, so every man and his dog wants an interview tonight, but I'm going to hold out because we need the series champion in first, Sam. Simon Trendle, what can other drivers do next season to try and wrestle that crown away from him? Or will it just be the change of car that does it?
It's a good question. I think the answer to will the change of car do it, we'll have to wait and see what happens with the new car. But Simon is good in everything he races, so I wouldn't expect that to be somewhat of an issue for him. So we need someone to step up and do something about it. Although this season was pretty close. Yeah, I mean, they will have to put more work in, I guess.
Yeah, I'm looking at the NQR Europe team. I think those guys put a lot of work into their racing, and I think the rivalry between those 3 drivers, so Ant, Rob, and Bram, I think has probably brought all 3 of them on this season. I think as it stands, maybe Rob Woodhouse is just above the other 2, but at various races this season, the other 2 have proved, they are capable of leading that team to a win. There's a nasty rumor that Crash Jackson could be back next season. We'll have to wait and see how he gets on with the car. because he was shocking in the Gen 1 and fantastic in the Gen 2. Kenzie Newoff is another one that could be back. He said he would be back when the Gen 3 comes out. Will people like Johnny Brandon be tempted back with the Gen 3 car? We'll again have to wait and see. But yeah, I think at the moment, the rest of the field has got to give it to Simon Trendle and go, do you know what? For the last few seasons, you've been better than all of us, but we're coming for you. Anyway, let's bring him in, shall we? Series champion, Simon Trendle. Welcome to the booth.
Good evening.
Good evening. So, race 1. Start to finish, and a good start. Couldn't have gone.
Very rarely do I have a bad one now, even though it's not as bad as it used to be.
I don't use the word bad starts now. I use the term mediocre starts.
You'll be all right next season. It's a completely new car, so I'll have to learn to get that one off the line.
But yeah, race 1 was fairly simple for you. Is that fair to say?
I mean, David was not far behind me for a lot of it. He started making mistakes in the second half of the race, which gave me like tenths more than I was actually getting flat out. Because if on laps where he was not making mistakes, he was within a tenth or two of me. But then he had a couple of laps of like 5 tenths back or 7 tenths, and that just gave me the gap. So not as easy as probably it looked, but yeah, I was quite enjoying the car. To be honest, it feels great around here.
Good. And then race 2, obviously I was rooting for you, but it seemed to
the
be
gravel.
Well, no. You seemed to. I don't know whether he was just being patient. The back of the car looked really, really lively. Yeah, I don't know if it was because there was a number of cars in front of you, and people complain about aero wash and stuff like that. But I don't know. It seemed to take you a while to get going, and then there was a couple of incidents along the way. I think Tony was one, and Ant Woodward was another one. But yeah, you just didn't. I don't know. You didn't seem. You wasn't very Simon Trendle, if that makes sense.
No, I was up until the pit stop. I was taking the approach of I don't want to make too big a dives at the moment because it's just not worth the risk. I need to see where I come out after the pit stop, and then start making risky moves and dives and things on people. So it's really difficult to pass around here. There is a bit of air wash. I was behind Jamie in practice, and I could not get quite close enough to him unless he made a mistake to make any moves. I knew this second race, if I won the first, was going to be really difficult because it's just so tricky to get a good run on anyone, and everyone's at least there's a top 10 that are just really quick. They're not that far behind me. I'm probably making a bit less mistakes just through practice and whatnot, but I don't know. Not that matters anymore. Car's going. So yeah,
you can set fire to it now.
Oh no, I don't want to do that. I like this car. I've learned to like a new car now.
Well, there is that, yes, and we've seen in the past where some people just take to it and other people hate it. But is that 3 championships on the trot now?
Good question. I don't know.
I think it is. Me and Sam were just talking. You're not. It's not that you're head and shoulders above everybody else on speed, and I mean that in the nicest possible way. But you are in consistency. Apart from other drivers getting more consistent, what can they do to beat you? How can they stop you getting a 4th championship?
Oh, let's see. There's a new car coming, and it's going to have, by the sounds of it, it's going to have tyres on it. So we might have weather, which is going to throw the cat among the pigeons there. So yeah, who knows?
Oh yeah, fair enough.
To answer your question, Clyde, it's the 4th one in a row.
Fourth one in a
Oh.
row. Jesus, right. So we certainly need to get these penalties sorted out. So overall championship, you also won the Forever Forward Award by one overtake.
Oh dear.
Team standings, second. When are you going to get a decent teammate?
I mean, we won it last season, didn't we? The team ones.
That was a lucky one, though.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah. To be fair to Jamie, he was very quick tonight.
This track suits him a lot more, and it's yeah. I said in warm up that he needed to pit as soon as the window opened and just go, because the tyres held on so long that he wasn't going to gain anything by running long, despite having clear air. So
Yeah.
he got a slowdown, which cost him like 2 seconds, which is further than he's finished behind Rob. So
yeah,
himself that one.
Yeah, that's the win right there, isn't it? We promise we won't mention that when we talk to him. So reflections on this season. Obviously it's got to be a good one because you won. But maybe a little bit sad that the car's going. What are your final thoughts?
I mean, I'll be sad the car's going when I'm not winning anymore. So I'm not. I genuinely, it's going to be a complete surprise how well everyone stacks up on that. So I'm actually looking forward to it, as much as I joke about it. I mean, people have talked to me. I haven't practiced maybe as much as I used to, but I'm still trying, and they're getting closer to me. So it's not another season, and they might have been right on me. I don't know, but we'll find out next season.
We certainly will. Well, any shout outs you want to give at the end of this season as a multiple champion?
Yeah, the biggest one to you guys who are running the league, because it's a lot of work that's behind the scenes that people don't see. I have organised stuff in the past a long time ago, like it, and I know how much effort goes into it. And how long may it continue? I hope you have one with the new cars. I'm just assuming that we are. Hopefully.
I'm sure we'll sort something.
All the drivers who obviously stuck with this car, even though the participation has dripped off, but we've still had some fantastic races. That one, as chaotic as it was, that second one was fantastic. Hopefully no one's annoyed at me. You never know. And we'll see who turns up next season.
Excellent.
New faces.
Yes, I'm sure there will be with a new car. Simon Trendle, series champion, Forever Forward champion. Congratulations. Thanks for your time, and we'll see you next time out.
See you next time.
Right, Sam. I've just had sticky toffee pudding and ice cream delivered. So you're getting the next interview, which is going to be a race 2 winner, Rob Woodhouse.
Hello.
Hello. What happened in race 1, Rob?
I started last and got to 10th place, and I was like, okay, that'll do. And I was cruising round. Then Ant and Vincent came together. Then I was in P8, and it was sort of like, oh, okay. So then I let Jamie by, and that got me the front row of the grid for race 2.
So
I was
like
just that
sandbagging.
was the plan, because I thought it's so tough to pass round here. And in race 1 as well, it's close in the championship between Tony and Bram. So if I'd have qualified and been, I just didn't want to be mixed up in the race between them. And I had ulterior motives. I was like, right, I'm going to go for the win in the feature. And just set my sights on getting the front row start for the feature.
Well, that was a good strategy call. I did think about it for Vincent, not for you. We told you were just maybe like in practice this week or something happened because you did not qualify well. But apparently it was all planned. So race 2 went like as it should have been then? First from start to finish?
No, up until about 10 or 7 laps to go, I started doubting the lap counter and my fuel. And I was overthinking it. And then I tried to save some fuel and then started out braking myself. And I was giving up time to Jamie hand over fist. And I was sort of like, sod it, just just go for it. Either win it or run out of fuel, and just go for it again. And yeah, the rest of the team were right. They're spot on with their calculation. 27 laps, we're good to go.
How much fuel at the end?
I ran out on the back straight, so I wasn't able to do burnouts or anything. But yeah, I felt my pace was pretty good. I was like in the top 3, 4 in practice, and I think in the race I was less than, what was it, 200ths off of the fastest lap. So I felt my pace was good. I knew it was really difficult to pass, so I just put my eggs in the start off the front row, and because a lot of the time this season I've qualified up the front and I've finished on the podium race 1, and I've just, I've struggled. Other people have, finished 10th, 8th, 7th, and then just run away and got the win in the second race, and then ended up scoring more points over the round. So I thought I'd try. I'm not going to lose second in the championship. I thought, let's just try something different that I don't normally do and go for the win.
Yes. So the best lap for you was a 1:28.60, and the fastest lap from Vincent was a 1:28.58. So you're right, 200 of a second slower than the fast lap, which is pretty good. One last question: is this your first win in the series?
I got a sprint win at Imola on, I think it's Simon's birthday weekend, so he wasn't there, and I got a sprint win there.
Okay,
But
so it's not a real win because Simon wasn't around, but it's a win still. So
yes, yeah,
well,
yeah. I mean, with the strength of field, to get a win, you can't take it away from any of the other drivers. It's still a bit of an achievement.
you're
But
right.
yeah, I'm
That's definitely
really
an
happy.
achievement.
Yeah, really happy to finish the league racing with this car with a win. Yeah, very happy with that.
Definitely a good finish to the season and the use of this Gen 2 car. Congrats on the
Yeah,
win on the last one and the good strategy call then.
no, thank you.
Anyone you want to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, you guys in the booth putting on the broadcast yet again. It's been awesome every season. All the guys that have turned up. It'd been nice to have a bit more of a stack grid tonight to say goodbye to the car. But yeah, thanks to everyone for turning up. All the NQR guys and Simability for sponsoring the league.
Well, Rob, thank you very much, and we'll see you next time around.
Cheers, guys. All the best. Bye bye.
Okay, next up, I have spotted lurking a Mr. David Burns. Welcome to the booth.
Thank you very much, guys.
How has your season been from a new driver's perspective?
It's been better than I thought it would be. I aimed for top 10, so finishing P9 overall, quite happy with that. And a podium.
Yeah, I was going to say, so sprint race tonight, podium, and yeah, well, every driver in their racing career, virtual or real, has had what can be deemed as a lucky podium where other cars have done something stupid. But that was an earned podium. Even Simon, when we had him in the booth, was saying, you wasn't actually that far off of him. So you must be very pleased with that result.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I was saying to myself when I was only 3 seconds behind Simon. I was like, well, that's progress. Yeah, Donington, I really like this track, actually. It's not my favourite layout. The National's better because the extra hoops are really tricky in this car. But yeah, I was pretty much on pace.
Well, I've noticed, and I think we've mentioned it in the broadcast a few times, especially over the latter rounds of the season. You seem to be improving hand over fist. Is that just you getting used to a car that's now going on the scrap heap, or have you done something different, like extra practice, or found a sweet spot with the setup?
Yeah, it's a bit of both. It's learning the car. It always takes me a long time to get used to a car. I am more used to open wheelers like the Skip Barber or the F4 car. So tin tops are always a struggle for me. So I wanted to push myself a little bit, and I've always liked the supercar. So I thought, yeah, this year we're going to push into it. So I'm really looking forward to the Gen 3 cars. Definitely.
Yeah, and obviously everybody will be back to square one, as they say. There's not going to be any historical setup notes and things like that. So, is it literally for you, as soon as the car comes out, get out on track and see what you can do in it?
Oh, absolutely. I'll be there for week 13 madness in it.
Yeah, and that usually is madness as well. Yeah, 30 cars on a track, brand new car, nobody knows how to drive it. Yeah, good luck with that. Overall, I think you've done excellent this season. I hope you think that you've done excellent as well. I know we're getting rid of this car and going to the Gen 3, but supercars in general are just, unbelievably difficult to drive, take a lot of time and commitment. And I think you've shown that this season. Um, any final thoughts on what you've experienced in this league? Any advice to anybody that's watching and thinking about dipping a toe in?
Well, I must say it's been a really good experience learning the car. The guys in this league are really helpful, and the racing is fantastic. That I was just like, it's so respectful, which is just lovely. Learning the car, you got to take it slower. It's not a car you can rush because it didn't click with me for the first couple of races, and then I started to make progress a little bit with it.
Yeah, and all the guys in the league, you've only got to reach out to them, and all of them will help. But you're right; it's when we first started doing this, how long ago was it, Sam? 8 years ago, something like that.
Way too long.
Yeah, not that I was ever any good in the car, but to start with, it was like just ridiculous. And I had a long chat with someone who will remain nameless, but his name ends in Kloosterman. And he said, right, the first thing you need to do is don't worry about speed. Worry about being safe and staying on the track, because even if your lap times are slower, but you finish the race on the lead lap, you're going to be further up the field than if you keep crashing. And that's what I did. And like I say, I was never up there winning races, but I certainly made progress doing it slowly. So yeah, that's definitely the way to go. Any shout outs you want to give at the end of the season before we let you go?
Just to everyone in the league, thanks very much for having me, and I look forward to Gen 3 in next year.
Excellent. Well, pleasure talking to you, David. Well done on your first season, and looking forward to seeing you in the Gen 3.
Thanks, guys. See you later.
Okay, so I'm trying to. I don't like this new scoring thing. Right, so I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's bring in Mr. Tony Kloosterman for you, Sam.
Well, me, Tony, hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. And you?
Yeah, thanks.
Good night, bad night? How do you feel about it?
Big mistake in laps in race 2, which unfortunately I think kind of ruined Simon's race, and I feel badly about that. It could have been much better, I guess.
I don't think you ruined it that much. As you said, it was, being a bit slow in the first part of the race to keep avoiding the mistakes. In the end, you recover to 8th position, and looking at the pace in front of you, I think it's not a bad result considering the incident in the first few laps. What about?
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
I thought the pace was okay. Very early pit stop, and obviously that put a lot of stress on the tires. But I made some progress. I caught up to that pack. I just couldn't do anything with them.
Yeah, they are like cracking battle. If you watch the broadcast back, they've been battling for the whole race. It was really entertaining. In the end, last time with this car, I'm sure you're probably the happiest man in the world to see the Gen 3 finally coming to the service.
Yeah, probably am. I'm excited for it, and hopefully it'll be all that it's cracked up to be, and probably similar to this car. If you don't put the effort into it, you won't get rewarded. So, hopefully people stick around with it and give it a proper go.
Yeah, it's always the big talking point. Give it a chance and stick to it. Most people don't, but it's so rewarding. They need to really stick to it. Hopefully, it will be the case for Gen 3, and hopefully, we'll have a bigger grid. Although racing has been awesome this season. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I hope we do have bigger grids. I think week 14, first 2 weeks of the regular official series will be, I'm sure, crazy because it's Watkins Glen and Phillip Island. So those are two very popular tracks, and I'm sure that the officials will be well populated, and hopefully, we generate enough interest out of those to promote the league and perhaps have some bigger grids ourselves for next year.
Hopefully that's the case. Any news from the old champ that is sticking around sometimes in chat? Is he coming back?
Actually, the old champ yesterday joined us in an official practice session for Donington.
Oh,
And as rusty as he was, he turned a lap 0.5 seconds faster than any of his teammates. So we keep trying to encourage him to participate, but his family life on Saturdays is very, very busy with his kids, and that's his number one priority right now. So we're hoping we can drag him into some officials during the week when maybe the kids are in bed or something.
that would be awesome, but obviously life is more important than having fun with the friends. But we all respect that. That's what everybody should do. Family first. Hopefully he comes back, at least for a few races. It would be fun to see him back. Chris, if you're listening, you're welcome back anytime. Johnny, on that note, last time of this season, last time of this car, any shootout and thanks you want to give before we let you go?
Yeah, a few. You guys obviously for doing the broadcast, Clyde and Pete. This is 15 seasons now for the V8, which is an incredible run. So congratulations on that. We really appreciate all the efforts that you guys put into this. Glenn from Simability, we've run Simability on our cars since day one. So that's been a long-standing relationship. And to the members of the team, and I especially want to give a shout out to Ant. 7 years with our team now. 7 years, not 7 seasons, 7 years. And his progress over those 7 years has been quite remarkable. I know that his day today didn't go as well as he'd like it to. I was kind of hoping he would finish in third place in the championship, but he did get a team championship out of it. So I really want to recognize that. Congratulations to all the guys in that team for the work that they did this year. And just to everyone else that comes out and races, I know it's a small group, but they're all gentlemen when it comes to racing and really enjoy it.
Yeah, awesome progress from Ant, that's true. But he did quit in race 1, don't forget about that.
Yeah, I know. I was a little disappointing.
we maybe have stated a bit too much on the broadcast, but it was for the good fun. Tony, thanks to you for providing all the information we need in and out the league. You've been great help to us. So a big thanks from me and from the whole BSTV team. Looking forward to see you next season.
Okay, we'll see you soon. Take care.
Take care.
Okay, Tony Kloosterman there, V8ESC stalwart, been there from day one. So next up, let's bring in the lesser half of Team Chimera, Jamie Wilson. Welcome to the booth.
Hello, hello.
Hello. I'm going to have to say this straight off the bat. Race 2, one more lap.
Yeah, I was pushing on. I mean, part of that was Bob was trying to save fuel in case it went to the extra lap. In which case I would have been buggered as well, but I knew it wasn't going to do that. So I was probably complimented a little bit by that. So, but I was still absolutely going for it. 40 laps every lap. So.
Yeah, race 1, obviously, you finished 6th, but you had a little bit of trouble in that race, didn't you? You was dead last at one point.
Yeah, I was quite fortunate in a way that I was able to recover that the way I did. It just fell fortuitously for me. I didn't know that I was 3 wide on the way into there, and there was just a bit of squeezing and bunching and whatever, and it's just one of those things. Nature of that corner, but I happened to be spun around in such a way that I could just get going pretty quick. So, I then had the chance with the ball being bunched up to then just, as at the end of the race too, just absolutely push like crazy and just see how far I can get. I was gifted a few positions along the way, and then I was quite sort of content being, I think, 9th. Front row start gives you an opportunity to laugh at me doing a crap start. Good stuff. And then I think it was Nikolai and someone else ahead, Rob Venn, and the opportunity kind of presented itself to make some forward progress. So I was like, sod it, I'll go for it then. And on the last lap, how I didn't turn Rob, I don't know. He had the mother and father of all rear lockups going into the chicane. Rear lockup, so he was fighting it like crazy, and I just about managed to sneak through with like a toothpick of tolerance to get through.
And on to race 2. I did try jinxing you before the race started and said you was going to get a podium. You didn't prove me wrong. You were up there in 2nd, and like I say, maybe after hearing about your fuel situation, maybe another lap, and neither of you would have been on the podium. But you seem to have pace here. Was there something going on, or is it just one of those tracks that you enjoy?
More so the latter than anything else. It's the complete opposite of Spa last week. I struggled at Spa. I just couldn't figure the car out around there. It might have just been our setup was a bit naff or something. But it was just a bit of a chore to drive. Although I ended up having good fun battle with Tony on that occasion, which kind of made the best of the bad situation. But yeah, no, here out of the box, pretty good to be honest. Felt comfortable, could put the car pretty much where I wanted it. Tyres went off in such a way that you could kind of bring them back if you were more careful about it, that kind of thing. So, I just got into the rhythm of the place, and then having the red rag to a bull of holy crap, I'm actually in contention for potentially taking the win home, which is an extraordinarily rare thing for me to be in a position to do. I don't know. I was just determined, I suppose.
Yeah, well, it was certainly good fun watching you try. So we put this car to bed now, and we switch over to the Gen 3. You looking forward to that?
Yeah, obviously everyone is. It's long in the waiting. Trivia question for you.
Oh, God.
Could you name any winners of the last meeting of the Gen 1 era in this league? Bonus point if you could name the track.
I don't even know where we raced last week.
Which season was it?
And you've just told me. John, no, it wouldn't have been John.
I don't know what season number it is. It was this time 2019. It's on this day 2019.
Then I don't remember.
You were in it. Both of you were in it.
It could have been me.
Well, technically correct statement there, but it wasn't.
No, genuinely have no idea. Go on, enlighten us.
So Johnny Brandon won 2 races, and George McClay.
I was going to say Johnny, but I didn't. I was thinking of season 1, not at the end of the Gen 1 era. Yeah.
That's a good pub quiz question.
Yeah. Yeah, very good. I like that. So who's going to be the first race winner in the Gen 3 then? How does Simon get on
Andrew
with new
Wood, that'd be good.
cars? Does Simon just jump in a car and he's quick, or?
Oh, no. No, Simon jumps in a car, gets really annoyed at it for ages, and just goes about his business in silence and just sort of takes his time to just figure it out. And then once he's got to that point, he then demonstrates what you've seen in the last couple of seasons.
Well, he was saying to us that he's not worried about overall championships anymore because he's won 4 of them. He's more interested in the team championship, and he thinks he might have to get a decent teammate to win that again. Is that fair?
Yeah, he needs to go shopping then. But to be fair, with the 2 of us versus the 3 that ran in NQR Europe, I think we did pretty well. We weren't a million miles off.
No, that is true. I'll give you that. And I know you don't always get the results you want or the results you deserve, but you're always fun to watch.
I'd hope. Well, that's the Bill factor of trying to, in the old days, make Bill say "holy mackerel."
Yeah, you're like,
and that's the spirit of that I take racing, basically.
It's like going to the circus when you was a kid and seeing the bearded lady. That's you. That's my analogy.
I do need a shave, actually. Yeah.
So, before we let you go,
I can stop putting the voice on now.
any shout outs you want to give at the end of the season and end of the Gen 2?
Well, specifically just for this race, I had a coming together with Vincent during that, which was just a consequence of rubber banding, basically. I wasn't trying to make a move at that point. I was just trying to be close behind him to make him make a mistake. But what I didn't account for was his car rubber banding backwards into me, and then after half a second appearing 45 degrees sideways. So just to explain that before I disappear. But I can't control his connection, so then I just have to race him like everyone else, and that's what I was doing to everyone else. So yeah, apologies to him that it happened, but there is a reason why he is more susceptible to those sort of incidents. But just in general terms, yeah, thanks to everyone that turns up and has turned up for all of these over the years, plural. Ever since I started doing this. When was that? That was I did the first race I had. This was an endurance race in these cars, this gen, at Daytona, where I was stuck together with Wayne Sanderson and Tyler Newitt the whole time.
Remember that?
Yeah,
horrible place to be.
Yeah, I know, especially in between them. I mean, it's dangerous from both angles. But
everyone's watching. Be careful.
Yeah, but there's a lot of good memories of this era. It's sad to see this car go because I think it was quite unique. As they all are. The Gen 1 is very different to this car. The Gen 3 I expect will be very different to this car as well. There'll be people that will thrive in that transition and people that don't. Let's hope we're in one side of that. But yeah, it's very much the end of an era, and yeah, I will miss it. So thanks to the car.
Yeah. Personally, I want to thank you, Jamie, for the unseen work that you do for us in the background. I know a lot of people don't see what you do, but some of the things that you have come up with has certainly saved us a hell of a lot of time and hassle. So big shout out to you for doing that for us.
Thank you very much. Thanks to Sam for having less audio issues than Pete does.
My pleasure.
Yeah. Well, on that note, Jamie, we're going to let you go and set fire to the car or whatever you need to do and get ready for the Gen 3.
I did 3/4 of a donut at the end of that with the fuel I had left. That's enough.
Well, Rob complained that he didn't have any fuel left to do
Yeah, it's
any.
a
So
croissant, maybe.
yeah. Well, like I say, always a pleasure, Jamie. Hope that you guys are back for the next season, and yeah, keep up the good work.
Yep. Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Right, so I was going to bring Bram in, but it's Sam's turn for an interview. We need to avoid the Belgian loving. So let's bring in Mr. Stephen Phillips for Sam.
Hello, Steven.
Hey Sam, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Don't worry, I'm not gonna say you're coming from New York. I'm not Pete or Clyde, so we're gonna avoid the subject. Pretty good
Definitely
races
from
for
New
you.
York.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun today. Glad I can make it.
Yeah, you held up Simon for a long time. I think in race 1, in race 2, if that's correct.
Yeah, I don't know if I was holding him up or if we were just kind of in the same fuel train. But it was nice
Maybe.
to be sitting in front of him for a little bit.
Yeah, you've been in the battle track with a lot of people for almost the whole race, but you went way longer on the tire. Was that an advantage at the end?
Yeah. I mean, it would have been if it wasn't so hard to pass here. But yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's something we talk about. Like we're looking the two in front, Jamie and Rob, and saying, maybe they should pit, and then Vincent, and maybe he should pit. Exactly for that reason, very hard to pass. I think you all did a great job, not letting the other guys pass or making the moves, because it's been very difficult for a lot of people. What's the most memorable moment for you today? Gonna start
Oh
today.
man, I'm probably dodging either of those wrecks at the chicane. There's a lot going on at the chicane today.
Yeah, there's been a few spam at the chicane. That was quite fun.
Mm-hmm.
Any good moments for you with this car, in particular, of course?
Oh, I mean, I have to go with the win at Road Atlanta. That's got to be number one.
That's definitely a good moment. Only when? Have you just once?
Yeah, just the one.
Ah, geez. I would have bet you won more than one time, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of quick guy in the series, so it's not the easiest thing to do.
Yeah,
Um,
it's so hard to even finish in the top five with this group. So to get a win is special.
It's special for everybody. It's a pleasure to have you in the league. Even if you can make all the races, I think you make the grid look better. Are you coming back for Gen 3?
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, we'll see what my schedule's like. I don't know when you guys are planning to start the league back up for Gen 3, but if it's another spring and the summer league, then I should be able to make more of those dates.
We don't have any dates yet to clarify this. So we'll
We'll
see,
see.
but most likely something in coming your way for racing V8s, that's for sure. We don't want to miss that. Well, on that note, should anyone give before we let you go?
I just want to thank you guys for making this possible. Without you and Clyde and Pete, we wouldn't have a platform to be able to do this. And then everyone else that shows up week after week, and makes the racing so good.
Well, it's been a pleasure to have you, Stephen Phillips.
All right, thanks, guys.
Okay, so next up, let's bring in Mr. Bram Dubois. Welcome to the booth.
Good evening.
Good evening. So we couldn't have another Belgian loving this week, so you've got me. Race 1, you had some pace there with a 4th place finish. Tell us all about it.
There was only one race today, I think. Yeah, it was quite okay. Everyone at the front got quite settled, and weird to say, probably we did show up at the broadcast because we got separated and we just ran where we were running. Was quite happy to just sit there and take a fourth spot.
Yeah, like I say, you certainly had some pace, and then like you say, race 2, it didn't happen, did it? It was bit of a disaster.
Yeah, it's quite tough to pass here, and then everyone, gets jacked up driving in a big train. Then I sadly had some contact with David because he was like, okay, coming someone in front of my nose, slowing more down than I did because and Simon were side by side through the chicane, and then I bumped him, and then since after that my race was just, let's say, gone. Had some nose damage, but I think the focus was just disappearing, and me trying not to get more off tracks, but failing, having to do some drive of shame even. Oh well.
That's usually the way, isn't it? Though you know you're getting close, so you then concentrating on not going off track, and you tend to go off track even more. It's weird how that happens.
Yeah, especially at this place. I don't know. I could get around quite okay until maybe after 9 laps. Then my tires were just gone.
Well, you've shown some massive improvements second half of the season. Are you going to be sad to see this Gen 2 car go, or are you hyped for the Gen 3?
Well, I'm not that new to the car. It's my third year or something. But a lot of people here are a lot longer in the car, so I hope with the new one it will level the field a bit more. But then we have guys like David coming in and being fast from the get-go. So I think it's kind of a new car for them already. So Gen 3, I suspect him to be quite fast.
Yeah, we were saying earlier, me and Sam, how close the field is now. From the front to the back, and hopefully that continues into the Gen 3 era. Although you do get some drivers that will take to a new car a lot quicker than other drivers do. I'm guessing you're going to be out in practice as soon as that car is released.
Yeah, of course. It's like we always say, your main time is what rewards you in this car. Just have to put in the laps, and then that's what you got to do. Stick to it, and then finally it will give it back to you.
It certainly does. You're right there. So overall, this season, happy, sad, somewhere in the middle.
Let's say somewhere in the middle. Quite happy with my pace. Not so happy with my how I finish all the stuff up. Make too many mistakes. Maybe think sometimes I push too hard. Sometimes I have the light go on, and I have put in a good race like I did at Spa. And sometimes the light just goes off and it's all downhill.
Yeah. Oh well, I genuinely, obviously from the outside looking in, I genuinely would say with you, the pace is there. All you need now is the consistency, and you're going to be in them top places every single race. So just keep up the good work, and hopefully the Gen 3 suits you.
Yeah, I hope maybe it's a bit. I think it will take a bit longer for me to get ahead with the car, but maybe better to have that than have one bunker season when you're ahead of everyone and then everyone catches up.
Yeah. I wouldn't know that feeling, but any shout outs you want to give before we let you go for the last time this season?
Well, I want to give all the shout outs for everyone actually putting all these races up. You guys for hosting it, doing the broadcast, everyone for showing up. The team to put all the work you put in. happy we managed to get the team championship. That's what
You
I can call
certainly
it.
did. Yep.
I hope some points were mine. We'll never know. But yeah, looking forward to next season, and definitely looking forward to the new car.
Excellent. Well, it's always a pleasure, Bram, to have a chat with you. I think, as I just said, especially second half of the season, you've now got the speed, work on the consistency, and you'll be up there. So I think you've had a successful season. I think you're in a great team. I think you all egg each other on and make each other quicker. So yeah, keep up the good work, and we'll see you next season.
Yep. Thank you all. See you next season.
Okay, we're nearly there, Sam. I'm going to bring in Mr. Ant Woodward for you for the last time this season.
Evening.
Quitter.
And so we renamed the team Never Finish Racing from now on.
Yeah.
What happened?
I hit the instant point limit at 15 and decided to not serve that and just get out and walk away for a bit.
So instead of a drive of shame, you made a walk of shame then.
Yeah, it was near the end, and I was near the end as well, so
Well,
didn't make much difference.
We definitely made a difference on the broadcast, I can tell you that.
Oh, I'm sure.
We had a lot of fun picking up on you, but no, I mean, the season has been great for you. Finish fourth in this championship, win the team championship. Definitely a good season in the books for you.
Yeah, mad season. Really enjoyed it. Glad I stuck around and came back from my little walk to run race 2, because that was a good send-off, I think, that we all gave the car. Really fun race for the finale, but yeah, mega season. Great start, not so good towards the end, but yeah, real fun.
If we only watch race 2, you made a cracker recovery going back to P6 +8. Not enough to win the Fred Bingham Forever Forward Award. One place short.
It was close.
But I mean, you did whatever you could. What's your take on race 2? Because we're gonna focus on that because it was a real better one than the first one.
Yeah, forget race 1.
Never existed.
Yeah, it was mega. I struggle to remember him. I'm looking forward to watching it back. I just remember fighting with Simon, and obviously my main target today was just Vincent to try and retain third in the championship. He was just in front of Simon, so the common sense thing would be let Simon go and tackle with Vincent and see what happens. But I was just having too much fun, and to overtake Simon, I think I repassed him twice. So, you know, that's awesome.
We definitely saw a lot of passes between you guys. That was a lot of fun to watch. But honestly, I would take P4 in the championship and have a lot of fun during a race instead of just sitting it and be third.
Oh yeah, I'm just racing. I'm not thinking of championships or common sense. I'm just going as hard as I can, and yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, and when we look back 2 or 3 years ago, we would have thought Anne would be fighting for a podium finishing in the championship standings.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like I could have fluked a win at some point if enough people crashed as well, which is, you know, it's nice to think that you could possibly get that and never manage to win in this car. So, you know, that's a downer. But it's, yeah, I mean, Fiji was a bit of a turn, you know, first round, and I actually passed Victor Tanaka. It's my season highlight probably, except for the fact the commentary on it.
I remember it.
He's not here today, so you two are my favourites today. But yeah, that to be able to overtake Victor, was pretty huge, and I'd practiced so much, and I was like, right, I can do it if I put loads of time in. I can bring myself up to the standards of these guys. So yeah, just try to keep that going through the season, and it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. So short break with the family before next season, or you'll go straight into Gen 3?
Oh, as soon as it's out, I'm there. I can't wait for it. We've been waiting a bit too long, so yeah, I'm really keen to get on it and see what they're like. It's a big reset, hopefully, for everyone. So hopefully it doesn't take me like 7 years to get up to speed.
Well, you're gonna have to make for it in the next week or two because you're gonna be busy with Gen 3. And it's been a pleasure to have you racing. It's been a pleasure to see you improve that much and be finally contending for wins. So congrats on that. We talked about it with Tony earlier on. So you did a great job this season. Looking forward to see what you do in the Gen 3.
Nice one, boys.
Any shootout you want to give before we let you go?
Yeah, go on. Stacey Jack EV, the team, obviously, Simability, the team sponsors. Massive shout out to Tony. He's the best boss. I'm probably the worst team member. I'm always dancing the line of. I'm like that employee that's always dancing the line of getting the sack, but they can't quite sack him. Big shout out to Mr. Skilbeck for getting third. Well done to him. And Jamie Wilson as well. Just saved me, sent me his pedal controller, and that's why I'm still able to race every weekend. So big shout out to him as well.
Awesome. We'll see you around for Gen 3.
Cheers, boys.
Okay, so as usual, last but not least, it's Mr. Vincent Skilbeck. Good morning.
Morning.
You sounded very excited then. So, first race was going well, and then you had that incident with Jamie.
That would be Ant, actually.
Sorry, yes, of course it was. But race 2, up there on the podium again.
Yeah. Race 2 was pretty good for the most part until after the pit stop. But yeah, I was having fun battling with Bob. We kept it clean. It was good, hard racing.
Yeah, and obviously you got the old paint out, so I actually recognised you for once, which was good.
That's a good sign.
Now, obviously, being from down under, I'm going to hit you straight away with the Gen 3 question. What have you heard any rumors about it? Is it going to be easier to drive, harder to drive? Is it going to be a bit more like the Gen 1, a bit similar to this one, or something totally different?
The only thing I have heard is iRacing might be putting the newer tyre model onto the car, which apparently would make the car feel like more like a GT car, like this car did when it first came out, until they found it had too much grip and took the grip away from it. So I'm hoping that may be the case, which would make it a little bit easier to drive. But then again, hopefully they are sticking with the real world and not allowing the anti-roll bars to be changed during the race, which would be really good, because I know that with this car, the top guys are changing their roll bars nearly every corner to get the speed out of it.
Okay, that's interesting. And again, there's speculation. New tire model. Does that mean rain is coming to the V8s?
there is rumors about it. I've heard, but whether they do it or not is another question. I think they may wait a season, just to see how the car is with everyone. Once they get feedback from it, and then they may put it out, or if they do put it out straight away, it would be insanely good.
So I think reading between the lines there, what you're saying is give iRacing a chance to ruin the car and then bring rain.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right.
We know they're going to do it. So.
You are obviously the maddest person I know, because you either stay up all night or get up really early in the morning to come and race with us idiots over the other side of the world. In general, how has your season been? Because I think you've shown a lot of speed this season. Probably very similar to what I was saying to Bram. Very fast, sometimes inconsistent, but I would also throw in you've had more than your fair share of bad luck this season. What's your take on it?
To be honest, if I look at the standings, it looks like I've had a pretty decent season. The first half of the season I felt was pretty good. The second half, with all the incidents, it did make me question why I was getting up at this hour of the morning to jump on a race. But I am slightly disappointed I haven't had a win this season. I know I had maybe a couple of wins last season. I was disappointed I didn't get a win this season, but I've come close. It's just not been my season, I don't think. But I'll just put my head down for Gen 3 and see how we go.
Okay then, burning question. With the Gen 3 and with this league, are you going to carry on getting up at silly o'clock in the morning to come and race with us?
Of course I am.
There you go. There you go. I knew it all along. Vincent, it honestly has been a pleasure watching you race this season, and we do, we've had our down underers racing with us in previous seasons, but you're right up there, and there's never a dull moment when you're on track. With all that said, are there any end of season shout outs you want to give before we let you go to bed?
Yeah, everyone over at Wheelie Bins that keeps us running. Everyone in the league for turning up this season, even though the numbers did drop off a bit towards the end of the season. It was still good, close racing with everyone. You guys for the broadcast, and Simability for sponsoring the season again, and hope they sponsor again.
Yeah, excellent. Well, like I said, it's always a pleasure, mate, and we enjoy our conversations with you in the booth, because sometimes they can be a bit fruity if you've been taken out, and but you say it as it is, and that's always appreciated. And by the time we get you in the booth, it's past the watershed in the UK anyway, so it doesn't matter. I've really enjoyed watching this season. I look forward to seeing what you can do in the Gen 3. Vincent Skillbeck.
Yep. Catch you guys in Gen 3, and thank you for a good year.
Excellent. Catch you later, my friend.
See ya.
Right, Sam. Interview's over. I'm sure you'll want to talk about this season. I want to talk about this season, but there's one more championship to decide, and it is the most important championship, because let's face it, we decide who wins this, and that's better than anything. I'm going to put you under a lot of pressure, because I'm going to go first. And
before you go, I just want to say that we can 4-way tie this championship.
Yeah, we could possibly.
Just throwing that out, but will it happen? I don't know.
I'm gonna jump straight in and say the driver that impressed me the most tonight was Jamie Wilson. He is going to get my vote. I don't think anybody could argue with that choice. He had a lot of pace tonight. He could have had a win, but didn't. Although if he did get a win, he wouldn't have got my vote. So, there is that. Perhaps he came second on purpose. But yeah, no, I was very impressed with Jamie's racing tonight. So my vote, Jamie Wilson. Over to you.
Well,
We've now got a three-way tie.
Yeah, it's not gonna stay tie. If he had won today, he would have lost this championship. He had nothing. So I think he made the right call finishing second because he's getting my vote for the exact same reason. I've decided that after race one already almost, and then I saw race two and was like, yeah, okay, he's getting it. So yeah, Jimmy Wilson for me as well.
So there you go. The most important of all the championships in V8ESC. The Bill Switzer Driver of the Meeting Award for season 15 goes to Jamie Wilson. So yeah, I'm going to ask you to do the same, Sam. But I'm going to try and sum up season 15 as best as we can. I think before the season started, we was hoping that the Gen 3 was coming out, and it was, and then it wasn't, and then it was, and then it wasn't. So we went another season in the Gen 2. And little did we know this would be our last season in the Gen 2. But I know we've spoke about this in previous broadcasts and tonight. I think the drivers in this series and the racing that they've put on this season has been second to none. It's, yes, we all love 40 car grids, but we don't like it when the cars crash. These drivers, it doesn't matter whether it's for first place, 10th place or 15th place, they are battling for every position that they can possibly get, apart from Rob Woodhouse, who sandbagged tonight and admitted it. So there's a penalty coming there. But yeah, I just think the standard of driving, if nothing else, is absolutely fantastic. The way, if drivers do have a coming together, which it's racing, it happens. A driver will wait for another driver to give the place back, and that sort of thing. The camaraderie, not just within the teams, but all of the teams together, all of the drivers together, whether you're part of a team, whether you're a privateer, new drivers, the help and support that they get. It's just an absolutely fantastic community. And that is my overriding thought for this season. Congratulations definitely to all the winners. But I think the biggest winner this season has been the league. Over to you, Sam.
I think that's a good summary of the winning season. It started late because of Gen 3, and then not Gen 3, and well, we're gonna stick to it. Gen 3 is never gonna come. Then it's finally coming, which is good news. Hopefully we get a bit bigger car grid, but I would rather have 15 guys like today. There's almost no crash to show on the broadcast anytime, or a few hiccups, but nothing major, than having 40 people on the grid and spending the whole race in replay showing off people acting like I'm not gonna say the word. I think the racing is fantastic the way it is. Ultimately, for the drivers, it would be nice to have a bit more people, but I think we will all agree that it's better to be 14 good, fair people than even 20 or 30 with 10 or 15 guys that just want to rush you off track to get the position. So it's a bit give and take. A few more people would be great, and hopefully Gen 3 will bring that. But as you said, the racing standard in this league are just top notch, and it's just so great. The broadcasts are so entertaining because there's battle everywhere. Maybe in the endurance runs, it's a bit down on that, but because the races are longer in length and it's more strategic, it's normal. But the sprints and feature format is really good. We've seen battle from start to finish today. It was awesome, and it's been like that for almost every round of the championship. And everything's being decided on the last one. We've got the driver of the meeting decided on the last race. The Forever Forward Award decided on the last race. There's only the Drivers' Championship that was almost gone. If Simon showed up today, he won it, which he did. But yeah, everything's been decided on the last meeting. It's great as well. It shows that the league is really competitive, very fair, and it brings all of the good thing that you can bring from the league. So yeah, it was an awesome season again. Hopefully the next one will be as good as this one.
I can't disagree with any of that, but I would just like to let the folks at home know that is the most I've ever heard Sam say.
Say again?
Anyway.
What?
So let me, before we think about closing this broadcast, let me just once again remind you of your champions. So the Simability Cup, the overall champion was again Simon Trendle. The team champions was NQR Europe. The Bill Switzer driver of the meeting was Jamie Wilson. The Logan Jackson Safe Driver Award goes to Jeff Saunders, and the Fred Bingham Forever Forward Award goes to Simon Trendle. So congratulations to all of our winners. A few shout outs from me. Obviously, Simability and Glenn for the sponsorship of the league. Tony, Jamie, and anybody else that helps us out secretly in the background. Pete for doing the broadcasts. Sam for his professionalism. Yeah, I did say that. On the broadcast and doing the cameras. I have dabbled in the camera work and it is an absolute nightmare, but Sam most of the time makes it seem very seamless. Thanks to everybody that watches the streams. We do have, and I only noticed this tonight, over 2,000 subscribers now, which is absolutely fantastic for 3 or 4 idiots pretending that they know what they're looking at when it comes to racing. But most of all, the biggest shout out has to go to the drivers. The league is nothing without you guys. You make it what it is, and long may it continue. So I'm going to say goodnight. It is the end of the season. We will be back next year. Date to be confirmed, but watch this space. I shall let Sam say anything that he needs to say, and then we will close the broadcast. So thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you've enjoyed season 15. Stay safe, and good night.
And it's always going to be for idiots, even if he's not around, he's still with us.
Exactly.
That's all I'm going to add. So yeah. Thanks everybody, and we'll see you next year, next season, at the end of the year, new year, whatever you're celebrating or not. I don't care, but have fun, and we'll see you with Gen 3.
Bye.